Hello! Today we are going to be making banana muffins. If you have old bananas and you don't know what to do with them, muffins are a great way to use these up. We are going to need bananas, vanilla, cooking spray, muffin cups, a wet bowl, a dry bowl, a bowl for compost, a muffin tin, and Krusteaz light and fluffy buttermilk pancake mix. We'll also need sugar, which is what we'll start with today. We're using 1 cup of sugar in our wet bowl. Next, we're going to add our bananas, about 3 bananas. Peel them and mix them in with the sugar. If you have a masher, you can use that. You can use a spoon, you can use a fork, anything to make the bananas as near to liquid as you can. Now, I've forgotten to tell you, you need to preheat your oven to 400 degrees while you're mixing this up. Now that our bananas and sugar are mixed, we'll add our vanilla. I don't typically measure, but I'll give it a shot here. Let's put in half a tablespoon of vanilla. I prefer the Mexican vanilla blend. I believe it just has a better flavor. Mix your vanilla into the banana and sugar mixture. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness, I forgot the eggs. I also forgot the oil, which also goes into our wet. Add your eggs to the wet. And mix them up. The more air an egg has, the lighter and fluffier it will be. Add some oil. Let's put in, let's see. Let's do half a cup of olive oil. This is a light tasting olive oil, so it doesn't have a really strong olive flavor. It's good for frying and baking. And we'll mix that in as well. I know right at the moment this doesn't look very appetizing, but trust me, these muffins are delicious. All right, we're done with our wet bowl. We're going to change out to our dry bowl now. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Our dry bowl will have our Krusteaz light and fluffy buttermilk complete pancake mix. Again, I don't measure much. This is about 4 cups of dry mix. I want these to be nice and fluffy, so I'm going to add in And I forgot to tell you to grab this baking powder. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of baking powder. The Krusteaz mix already has a leavening agent in it, but I want these to be extra fluffy. And then we just mix the dry. If you have a sifter, you can use a sifter to sift these together. Let me show you what one of those is. This is a flour sifter. It has mesh inside and a ring that spins. You put the flour in with the baking powder and it sifts it together very finely. Now that your dry is mixed together, I'm going to set this off to the side as well. Now we'll be taking our muffin tray and preparing it. You can either use muffin cups or not. I prefer to use muffin cups because it makes the cleanup a lot easier. If you don't have them, just spray the inside of the muffin tin with spray oil or wipe it down with a cooking oil or olive oil so that your muffins don't stick. Place all of your muffin cups into the tin. Mission accomplished. We have put all of our muffin cups into our muffin tin. Now what I like to do is spray the inside of each muffin cup with Pam cooking spray because it keeps the paper from sticking to the actual muffin. This is messy. I do this over the sink because I'll show you when you spray, it can go everywhere. So I'll be back after I've sprayed these over the sink. Make sure when you're spraying, you get all the way around every piece of your muffin cup and the bottom. And now, as you can see, we have a huge oil mess on the top and we don't want that to burn to the pan, so I'm going to wipe that off. I simply wipe in between the cups, going one direction and then the other direction. It doesn't need to be perfect. We just don't want to have a lot of excess oil on there to burn because it will smoke up your house. And if you are using your smoke alarms, it will set them off. Smoke alarms are not a timer, they're a warning. Now that this is ready, we're going to set this off to the side as well. And we're going to bring back our dry bowl. And into the dry bowl, we're going to mix our wet bowl. We're going to give our wet bowl another stir, make it all light and fluffy. I'm going to make a small, maybe not so small, depression into the dry bowl called a well. And I'm going to place our wet content into the well of the dry content. It almost looks like mashed potatoes with gravy. Wouldn't that be disgusting? Mashed potato and gravy muffins. All right, so now we're going to mix our, now I'm hungry for mashed potatoes. Now we're going to mix our dry and our wet. We don't want to overmix it because overmixing flour will make it tough and chewy. We just want to mix it until it's all wet. Just until it's all wet. Make sure you're scraping your sides and scraping the bottom to get all of the dry. All right, we are nearly done with the mixing. Got some dry over here. Let me turn this around so I can see it easier. All right. Now, once you're mixed, it's time to load your muffin tray. So let me get our muffin tray back over here. All right, we are ready to fill some muffins. So I'm going to take a spoonful and drop it into where you can't see on the video. So it's very helpful. I'll do one up here. Drop a spoonful, a tablespoon. This is just a regular household big spoon into the muffin cup. And fill each cup, not all the way to the top where it's falling over. And you will probably need 2 muffin tins, because this should make about 2 dozen muffins. And as you can see, I have spilled muffin dough on top of the muffin tray. So I'm going to have to clean that off so that doesn't also burn and smoke. And I just wipe away the excess. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We just don't want a smoky house. Now these muffins are good to go as is, or you can add a crumb topping to them, which I'll show you how to do right now. You'll need flour and brown sugar and butter. We'll set these off to the side for a moment. We need a dry bowl, butter, brown sugar, and all-purpose flour. We're going to start with the flour. Again, I don't measure much. I'll try to this time. We'll do 1 cup of flour, the brown sugar. We'll do 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And we're going to mix that in before we add our butter. Because the butter, we don't want to smoothly incorporate. We want to make it into chunks. But we do want the brown sugar all the way through the flour. All right, that didn't take much. And look at that mess. Let's clean that up. All right. Always clean your workspace as you go. That makes cleanup at the end a lot less stressful. Now to add the butter. Butter. Again, this is 1 regular tablespoon sized spoon. And I'm going to put in 1 chunk of butter. And we'll see how that goes. We may need to add more. You can always add more. You can't take it out. And we don't want to mix this in. We want to sort of chop it in. Because if we get too much butter in here, it will melt down into the muffin mix and make the muffin mix too runny, and it won't cook properly. At the same time, we don't want to add dry flour to the top of a muffin because it'll make it too dry. So the butter has to be just right with your mix. And this is looking like it's not going to be enough butter. So I'm going to add another of these tablespoons of butter after I clean up my mess. All right, I'm going to add another tablespoon of butter. It's a little late now, but everyone did wash their hands, didn't they? You don't want to make food with dirty hands. That can make people sick. All right, another big spoon of butter. And we'll chop this in as well. Bring back our muffin tin. And now we'll top our muffins with our crumb mixture. We just want to sprinkle on a mound, a small mound of the topping mixture. And the muffin mixture that we made makes 1.5 dozen muffins, and this topping should be enough for all of them. All right, we want to try and contain our pieces that have fallen off of the muffins so that they don't burn in the oven and so that they stick to our muffins. And these are ready to go in the oven. We bake these for 10 minutes at 400 degrees. And without opening the oven, turn the temperature down to 350 degrees for an additional 10 minutes. And when you insert a toothpick or a knife in the center of the muffin and it comes out without crumbs stuck all over it or without wet streaks on it, it should be done. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoy making muffins. Now clean up any of the mess that you didn't clean up while you were cooking, while you wait for your muffins to get done. You've got 20 minutes to clean up your kitchen. What do you clean your kitchen with? I use food grade bleach that I make at home. It's 1 tablespoon of bleach per 1 gallon of water. It has 50 to 200 parts per million of bleach, and it's good for cleaning food contact surfaces. You do have to make new bleach every time because bleach, when it sits, loses its efficacy, which means it doesn't work as well to kill the germs. It doesn't have a strong odor. It makes everything sanitized. And especially when you're working with eggs, you want things well sanitized because just like chicken, they can have salmonella. Waiting on the muffins. I can't wait. It's been 10 minutes and it's time to turn the temperature down. Can you see how they've puffed up above the top? If you cook it at 400 for 10 minutes and then 350 for 10 minutes, that's the kind of top you expect to see. The muffins will be hot, so make sure you have a pot holder or dish towel for your hands. You could even use oven mitts, which are gloves that help protect your hands from touching hot things in the oven. It's been 20 minutes and here are the muffins. They are just about done, but they could use a couple minutes more.